Okay, so
Yeah.
Tvara, to start with, how was your childhood and growing up years? If you could tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I come from a very artistic family. I've got
Mm-hmm.
a really good environment that way.
Mm-hmm.
So my childhood, I would say, was certainly the happiest. We used to play a lot, and like right now, you don't see children playing so much, right? But we used to play a lot, and we had really good friends around in my building and in my school. So we would all hang out. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I was also studious. I would say when it comes to my classes and all, I'd be like a ranker, like top three, may or in top 10
Mm-hmm.
once. And then for 2-3 years, I would be like completely different. So my
Mm-hmm.
whole childhood was like that. Okay, for kabhi kabhi I'm in first 10, kabhi kabhi I'm not. I'm not even
Mm-hmm.
studying. It was like
Okay.
that. So I
Okay.
think more or less I can still find that kind of a graph in me where I try different things, I have different interests.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
Uh-huh.
I think that part is still very much there. But otherwise, yeah,
Uh,
childhood was happy.
okay. And when you say your family is from artist background, right? So if you could tell us about,
Yeah.
your parents and
So,
uh,
yeah, my parents, so both my parents are into, like, my dad's like a music composer. My mom
mm-hmm.
had a folk group and she
Mm-hmm.
had around 100 girls under her,
Mm-hmm.
and they used to do a lot of shows.
Okay.
Also, my Dada Kaka, he's
Mm-hmm.
Tarak Mehta, જે Ulta Chashma na actual
Mm-hmm.
writer હતા, ચિત્રલેખા. So that way, more or less, lot of people in my family are inclined towards the artistic field. So that way, I say કે
Mm-hmm.
પહેલેથી જ કોઈ કંઈ લખ્યું હોય કે આવું તેવું હોય કે ઘણી બધી વસ્તુઓ મારી સામે
Mm-hmm.
હોતી since I was a child. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that is the kind of upbringing I had.
Okay, great, great. And so, how did you end up in this acting world? Like, what
Yeah,
happened?
that's a thing that, like, my family also, and I never was like this is the buzzword now of a nepo kid, and you see that everywhere ke ha bhai
Mm-hmm.
chhe aa vastu. So yeah, that way I would say that I have I would feel really proud of my family in a way that they didn't really do that ke just gave me their contacts and they are like, okay, karo. So I did like a lot of different things. I did my BCA, then I did like a course in marketing and communications. Then I was
Mm-hmm.
also working in Bombay. I have
Mm-hmm.
also written for Femina Gujarat. So
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of different things, and then I thought, if I'm doing so many good things for my clients, I should do
Mm-hmm.
something like this
For
for me.
myself,
So
right?
that's when you can say that I realized that yeah, I do have that blood that I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was after getting enough exposure in various other fields also. So I think
Okay.
even today that helps me a lot, because
Mm-hmm.
whatever you bring in your art is from real life. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're not experienced that, you cannot
Right.
really bring things in your art, right?
Correct.
So, like, as in how we move forward and we talk about all the things that I have done, you'll see that more or less everything comes from that experience, which I've lived.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's how then I ended up, and then one thing led to other. I already knew that this Instagram and this thing is going to be a huge thing now,
Mm-hmm.
because that
Mm-hmm.
time I just started out. I was working for clients, so I knew that this was going to happen. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought that for me also it would be the right time to go into it. And
Mm-hmm.
then dhire, as I started putting my stuff out there, I started connecting to right people who helped me. So that's how I am here.
Okay, great, great. And then the digital creation part, right? Where
Mhm.
you are into promotions and a lot of other stuff,
Yeah,
right? So how that happened? Is
right.
it like parallel? You got all these projects while doing acting. Someone saw you that okay, you can do this, and that's how
Right.
you got some promotional
So
offers.
I have always been someone who, I'll tell you something. I knew that I'm going to face the camera because I'll be doing something or the other with the digital aspect. So I
Right.
wanted to learn acting. I went to Actor Prepares in 2014. Now,
Okay.
when I went to that class, I saw that
Actor
we would.
Prepares
उसमें क्या
is sorry. Actor Prepares is in Mumbai, right?
Bombay.
The
Yeah.
Unconscious, yeah, show.
Yeah. So they give you like scripts and stuff, and then you are writing them yourself. You are in a group activity. તમે એક characters આપે, બધા એ કરે,
Mm-hmm.
और फिर सब खुद से करते हैं. So that's
Right.
when I realized that to really do something in society, as firstly as a girl, because
Mm-hmm.
you know how it is. Like the most
Mm-hmm.
things they'll offer you will be like a girlfriend. You are playing somebody's girlfriend. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. It's never beyond that. Very few things that come to you are actually something that you feel this is meaty. Right? So to do that, I realized that if I really want to do it, I'll have to dabble in different things also. So
Mm-hmm.
as soon as I got out of there, where we were doing everything on our own, where I got a really good exposure for every aspect of filmmaking in a way and cinema, because we were working with cameras and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I came out of there, that's when I started writing and putting things out. Because I realized that if I do not become a person who has her own voice, then I'll be really getting lost in the crowd.
Right.
So that's when I realized, and that's when I started putting things out, and I would write, and then I did the photo story. So all of that I realized that I'll have to do now because of that. So that is, I think, really helped me. And digital creator, like you say, you have to firstly put your own things, right? So what clients see is what is your own aesthetic. How much, if I'm promoting a product or if I'm wearing something, they also want to see how much, like, what is my own style. So all these things, it started resonating with my audience. And जैसे वो audience बढ़ती गई, I think the brands also could see that, they are connecting to that, and the style I have, the way I'm promoting things, the causes I'm standing up for, the things that I'm talking about. So they would also resonate. Like nowadays in products, you see that, people are very aware about products being toxic free and being vegan. So I was already talking about all these things and talking about it sensibly. So when brands saw that, they naturally started coming to me. And then, of course, we understand a little bit of SEO. I myself done it here and there. So all of that, whatever I've done, I think organically online, it reaches very fast. And I think that is that people, a lot of people ask me, okay, we also want brands, this, that. But I see that people are so laid back when it comes to just simple things like answering an email. They don't do it. I get so many inquiries, but I make sure that either me or I also have a team, one person has to reply to them. So it is just simple chota things like that which people don't do. Right. So you do that and then it grows. So then you just have to be punctual and you just do it. You try to learn new things, all of that, and it keeps happening.
Correct. Okay, so now one of the most important thing about your life, your initiative, Sheroes, right? What is that? If you could, explain in detail about that initiative.
So, like I said, that my thing is I realized that I'll have to do a little bit more if I want a voice that is little different from, and I have to be engaging. So what happened was that when I work in my offices and here and there, I saw that this whole thing of urban women also not getting what they really deserve in their workplaces, and I was constantly facing that kind of a discrimination. So I was sort of noting all of that down, and this is not right. So I wanted to do something about it. So I wrote a photo story. It was called Sheroes Redemption. There's a Hollywood movie, Shawshank Redemption. It is about hope and jailbreak. So I made Sheroes Redemption. Okay, Sheroes is a woman who is like a shero, right?
Right, like
so
a hero.
It is also about that. Not using the word heroine because it is related to that, and coining a new word for the women of today. So that's what it stands for. And redemption, as in what it was like a very real experience, like the experience, not the stories in it, but what I felt was so real. So I wrote all of that and we did a photo story. So a lot of guys helped me, like around 16 guys helped me, and all of them were like grey characters. Not even grey, it was like a very shady character which they were playing, but they all supported me. And it was about a woman going in a workplace and facing issues, and je office na politics thata hoy, all of that, and what how she comes out of all of that. So it was a photo story. So in Instagram and Facebook par I released it. And I got a great response. So that was, I think, the very first thing I did on my own, which gave me a very good response. So many women connected to it, and I got really organic comments, and they are like, "Hey, we want a second part of this." But that story was so real that it was impossible to make a second part of it. So then I was like, I have so many women who already are like a community. So how do I keep this community? So then I did a clothing label, Sheroes karke. So every brand they say it should have a story. Now I actually literally had a story. So from there I made the brand, and then it was like we did a lot of videos and we did a lot of events and all of that. And after COVID, I have not been able to do it as much because now, those kind of events are not even happening that way. So now it is like taken a different route where I am also understanding. So that is my thing. I am also constantly, लोगों क्या है कि नहीं हमारी पब्लिक में mistakes नहीं होनी चाहिए. But I believe कर दो ना, मतलब कुछ तो कर रहे हो. So as soon as I learn better, I do better. Otherwise, I cannot do it. So I learned better कि अगर खाली गोटा आटला बधा कपड़ा ना already जब बनी રહ્યું છે, that is harming the environment in so many ways. So then I started upcycling the clothes, and I have a different segment for that. So then I was into upcycling. So that way Sheroes is something that is constantly evolving.
So when you say upcycling, if you could explain what is upcycling to the audience.
So upcycling is recycling is something when it completely goes and then they do make something out of it. But upcycling every girl can do. So what I started in COVID was I would take like old saris of my grandmother or my mom and then make dresses out of that. So it looks so pretty, and then now you must have seen like the biggest designers are doing it, and the biggest celebs are also wearing it now. So you must have seen Vijay Bombay last month, 2-3 very big events happened. So a lot of celebrities, international celebrities came for that. They're all doing it now. So this is like the perfect time to make that switch. So this is what I started doing. And હું જે વસ્તુને આવી રીતે બનાવીને Instagram પર મૂકતી, તો I would get like people would inquire, and then there are other girls also who started doing it. So then I've been making it for some other girls also. So they would bring me old clothes, old saris, and we would design the latest trending piece out of it. But we are using the same fabric. So that way you are doing a little bit. And see, for me, balance is the word. Like that's what it is. That you will see on my Instagram, I'm also promoting a lot of brands. But the thing is that that's where I'm earning from. But with that, I also try my best. कि जितना हो सके इतना I also conserve. I try to upcycle. So that's all you can do. But at least that much you should do. That's what I feel.
Of course. I mean, right.
Yeah.
Good. Tvara. Okay, my next question again is about the 2 stage plays that you actually created and you acted in that, right? Guardians of Madness and Experimental Affairs. So wanted to know, like, how did you get that idea? How did you convince people? How did you enroll all these actors into that? And the execution part, and what impact it did on the society?
Right. So this is where I realized that whole match, I would like really love to work with good production houses and just be like in their films or in the plays and just be acting if I have like a meaty part, right? But the kind of things that I was being offered was like, no, I really do not see myself doing this. And I always think whatever I create, it should have resonate somewhere in the society. Like not always, but agar ho raha hai, to it is like a different thing.
Right.
So if I'm doing something, then I try I do it that way. So I was meeting
before you go ahead, I just want to take a moment and appreciate you that what I have seen in past couple of weeks that we have been talking and on this conversation also, you constantly mention about making some change or how that it can transform the society and all. So that's really good. You have really good values, I would say. So
thank you so much. But I think about that a lot.
Good,
and that is something where I want to grow into,
And I would say influencers like you can really make a difference. Right. So continue to do that.
That's why I feel that I deserve, because a lot of people are also not using their voice. So I feel this person should, and if you it's okay. Like I'm saying, I'm also growing. Like 2-3 years back, I didn't know the things I know now.
Right.
But that's okay, no?
Right.
So people think, "Arey, 2 વર્ષ પહેલા તો તે આવું કહ્યું તું, હવે તું આવું." But yeah, so I'm saying, it was a mistake. Now I'm doing better. What is wrong in doing that? That's how
absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So that is why I had a friend of mine, and then her name is Swati. So we both co-wrote it together. And it was like, it had a musical, and it was called Experimental Affairs. It was about 3 different, so actually we had like lot of different affairs, but usme se 3 only we decided to do. So it was basically 3 different affairs which are experiment. So people invited me to salsa class. There are like salsa socials happening in the city where you go and it is very interesting that you can dance with anybody, you meet new people and you can talk to them. So one of them was a musical, the play. The other was like a robo and something with AI, which is also a buzzword now. And there was a third one that was about Monday blues. So everyone who goes to the workplace, they are like not happy in our generation. Like now we just do not have that work-life balance, and very few people are happy going in the workplace and working. So a lot of people say these things, and I get Monday blues. So we actually personified Monday as a man and blue as a woman, and we showed an affair between them. And how it impacts people's life. So it was very experimental, like the name suggests. And so when I wanted somebody to direct it, nobody was ready to do it, because when you are new like that, people do not really want to do it for you. So then we all did everything together, and that's how this happened. And very nice, very good thing which happened was that we got a really positive review in Times of India. And the lady who actually personally came to review it, she also is like a very well-known person, and she also wrote it. So that was like a positive thing, and we never imagined that we are doing something like this for the first time and we will get this kind of a review, but we did. So that really helped me. And uske andar we did not do like a lot of shows. There were also a lot of issues that I faced in it, where I was not able to handle the team. They were not trusting me with the whole thing, because I was doing it for the first time. And a lot of people who were coming, they had their own groups. So that was also, that whole politics was happening. So a lot of those things, but we came out of that. And then I did Guardians. So Guardians, I was another friend of mine, Yash. He had written something. So he said, "Bhai, tu ye dekh le, and if you like this, you make something out of this." So I suggested to put some more characters in it and make it like a proper masala thing. But it had a very good like an idea of mental health awareness, because that was a time when people were talking about this, and people were saying that like you hear more and more things about people getting depressed and all. So then it's play about OCDs. So there are like different patients, and all have different OCDs. And they meet a therapist receptionist, and they meet this receptionist, and they tell the doctor is coming and they'll treat you in a bit. But meanwhile, they are waiting and they help each other. So it's a very comedy play, like all the activities that they are doing that make people laugh. But at the end, there is a very good message for mental health awareness. So that play did very well. So we pulled in like a lot of shows in Ahmedabad. We did every good theatre, and we had a very nice team also. And for that, it was like, what we were making, we knew that it was so special. So you just feel it when you are like doing your rehearsals, when you are just before the play starts, you know that this is something very special. Right. And after that, we would interview each and every person who watched it, and they would give their review, and we would record it. And I still put like a story highlight of that in my Instagram. And sometimes I still see it, and I feel so happy that so many people have actually watched it, and so many people have given their video by. And if you also watch it, or if anybody watches it, they'll know that they are talking about something that is very special. So that's how we were just meeting and talking, and we ended up creating something very special. So that was something that was
must
so
be
much
very special, Tvara, because while you are explaining all these things, I can feel that you do what you love, right? And that is reflected on your conversation, on your language, on your face. So good. And in fact, you should promote to all this these people about that many of them are their passion and profession are different, right? And I think that is one of the major cause, right, where you feel tired, right? So but okay, we'll come to that. But yes, now next thing about
so that was about both the plays. And so that play only got me my web series, which we'll be talking about. The guy who directed, he came down, he watched it. Yash was also in it. I think the who's who of industry, a lot of people watched it. So what happened is now we wanted to come to Baroda, in fact, because we really wanted that chalo, Baroda is the next city to go after Ahmedabad, and we'll maybe go to Baroda, we'll go to Bombay. But that's exactly when COVID happened. So then we had to stop. So we did 2020 Feb May, we did the last show, and after that COVID started. So now we are sometimes we are talking and discussing, we might revive it, this, that, but then for the whole thing to come together in the same way, it always, we have to maybe be very sure that if now we are doing something again in the same thing, because it is a very good branding now. So we want to really take it a level ahead, then I think we can do that. But so what happened was, I got my web series with that. I am the protagonist in it. So that was also a great experience.
I'm going to ask about that. Yeah, but continue, please.
No, so that's it. You can ask and I can just answer that.
Okay, great.